Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Okay, so Lady Ashbury, based on the name and everything, 100% a vampire, right? Like, that's who he was talking to before when we were investigating at the docks. Like, at the beginning. Letter of Rakesh Chidana. Dear Dr. Swansea, I will be glad to manage the temporary morgue as soon as it's opened. As I have already told you, I was a doctor during the war, and I will be glad to serve my country again. I know it is not the same being a physician for the dead as it is for the living, but I believe it is important to welcome and take good care of our departed too. Rest assured, I will do my best to fully perform this new duty to the best of my ability. Concerning the question of my qualifications, I'm sorry I can't give you anything more valuable than my parole. I swear to you that my regiment made me a doctor during the war and that I saved many lives. If my word is not enough, you can contact the military administration to verify my experience and skills. They will confirm that even if I never followed any medical studies, the war taught me what a doctor really needs to know. Also, hello everybody, welcome back to Vampyr. I'm recording these just like back to back, like I'm just recording them all at once and chopping them up later, so. Alright, rare species of vampire. As a scholar and exegete, I don't know what that word is, of ancient writings, I would never insist enough about the importance of taking legends and ancient folklore into account when searching for hints about hidden or lost secrets. A common mistake is to take what we know for an established truth and use it to discard any contradictory material. For example, we must consider the possibility of undiscovered species of vampires and the necessity to rethink what we see as the established truth about the various types of immortals, based on what we know and what we gathered through time. For how many centuries do we consider that vampire was the vernacular term for what we would later learn to call econ? Until the day 4 explorers of the Brotherhood found proof in Siberia that Volkods were a lupine type of vampire, we considered these creatures to be linked to the mythological werewolf. Now we know that is not true. What about the rest? What about The Rakshasa from my homeland. Oh, I know that one. What about the Chinese Jingxi? They're weird vampires. Or the Pupuchin of southern Chile. I don't know that one. Of southern Chile. And without ever even leaving the beautiful Great Britain, what about the stories about bat-shaped women seen flying around St. James Church? What the hell's a bat-shaped woman? Is that just like a woman with wings? I mean, that wouldn't be bat-shaped if you just gave her wings. I mean, unless I guess her arms became. Still be weird to call her bat-shaped though. Anyway, sometimes flying around St. James Church in Louth. I don't know what that place is. What about the creature only identified as a disaster in some obscure testimonies, which tried to destroy London in 1666 by spreading plague all around the city? What about the Nimrod, the mythical figure of the restless vampire hunter, sometimes described by ancestral British econs as a legendary huntsman who only feeds on his prey's blood and could go unnoticed amongst the mortals and immortals? I tell you, my brothers, we never can be too sure of what we could find. If only we could forget for a few minutes what we're supposed to already know. Alright. Oh, that reminds me, actually, for blood and whatnot. As it turns out, for some reason, at least on the Xbox version, I don't know if it also works on the PC version, if I were to plug my keyboard into my Xbox, apparently we could level up, but like we could max out our level. Because I guess if you plug a keyboard into your Xbox and then go to sleep to level up, and you hold the OP buttons, it'll just give you blood, or just give you experience points infinitely. Alright, warning letter. Dear Dr. Swansea, I must inform you of my deepest reservations concerning the Dr. Thoreau Strickland and Harvey Fiddick case. Mr. Fiddick has been hospitalized after a severe work injury. He may permanently lose the use of his arm if not treated adequately. Dr. Strickland claims that a surgical procedure may save the man's arm completely. I say it may also sever its functions for good if complications arise. Our young colleague is an audacious and daring surgeon who might prove a great professional in a few years, but for now he lacks the skills to perform such a risky procedure. Need I remind you of the mistakes he made in the past? Since Dr. Strickland refuses to listen to me, I strongly advise you to forbid him to perform such a hazardous experiment. Alright. So that, now that we've been allowed in here, that gave us the hints that we needed. We should be able to finish off both Rakesh, however you keep it. Actually, I'm not sure if anybody said his name. Either way, and both doctors. Rakesh Chidana. Actually, Rakesh, by the looks of it, is already done. Now let's
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Rumors of blackmail.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
Alright, okay, Ackroyd, no.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Okay, where's Strickland? There he is.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently. Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
Did you know Dr. Ackroyd never reported your experimental research, despite the fact he doesn't agree with it?
Really? I didn't suspect he knew about my work. I must confess I am surprised.
Perhaps he thinks you should realize for yourself the danger of what you're doing.
See how condescending he can be? My God, he can be so irritating.
Okay, so we finished Strickland.
Have you heard any talk of blackmail going on in the hospital?
If you're running some official inquiry, you had better question the patients. They know more than the staff, especially old Miss Jones.
Goodbye, Dr.
Okay, and what about... We're still missing one of Ackroyd's, though. Which one? Oh. Hang on. Apparently something else got added to our inventory after we picked up the one letter. Yeah, note to Dr. Swansea. Dear Edgar, this note is not for the Pembroke administrator, but for my old friend. Since our short discussion 2 days ago concerning the possible promotion of the esteemed Waverly Ackroyd as the new chief surgeon of Pembroke, I have finally concluded that it wouldn't currently be in the best interest of the facility. Don't misunderstand me here. I'm convinced that Ackroyd is a very competent physician. I may even admit that he deserves a promotion, but not now, not while we all struggle to keep the epidemic at bay. For now, we need a clear hierarchical organization, and we must avoid the inevitable frustrated egos caused by such a promotion. We need an obeying and dedicated army. If I may even add, this is also a good test of character. I sometimes think Dr. Ackroyd is a little bit too proud, a little bit too eager to be promoted. To face a refusal may be a good way of finding how he deals with frustration. You wanted my opinion? Well, there you have it. I'd be ready to discuss these points directly with our colleague if he ever wanted me to justify my position on his promotion. So that was added without our knowledge, which gives us our last hint for Ackroyd. Which means he is now done.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Let's see.
What do you think of Dr. Tippett's opinion of your promotion, Waverly?
Tippett is a good practitioner. Maybe just a little too attached to his prestigious position at the Pembroke Hospital.
Really? That's exactly his diagnosis of you. A little too eager to get promoted? A little bit too proud?
He has the right to think so. But I deserve this promotion, and I don't consider it anything but well-earned.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
I mean, to be fair, he agrees that you should be promoted, just not right now. And to be fair, his reasoning behind it seemed pretty sound. It's like, look, he should be promoted, but we need everybody to work together right now, and promoting him over other people, including, I'm assuming, Strickland, may cause more friction
Good
than
evening,
is
Dr. Reed.
good.
Such a pleasure to see you again.
Have you heard of someone blackmailing people in the hospital?
Pardon me, sir, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh.
The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused.
Yes, sir, I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could.
It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana.
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reed. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education.
The
People
first
could
doctor
die
had
at
to.
your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reed. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
All right.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
It never ceases to amaze me how you, the dead, seem...
Well, we don't need in there. Or actually, yeah, can we go through here to get back to the hospital? Yeah. Alright, we're gonna go talk to Ashbury. We can keep asking everybody else here about blackmail, but also I'm very dissatisfied with how that turned out with Nurse Crane, because it didn't seem like we ever actually gave her the stuff. It just kind of like advanced to the next part without us actually giving her stuff.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
I don't remember her saving us.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit?
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient, or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, Your Ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Alright. And why is it still telling me to bring... It's still telling me to bring medicine. Also, is this the patient that we're gonna go see? See, now, there's Dorothy Crane, and it's telling me to bring medicine to her yet again.
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
Yeah, I have your fucking medicine.
Have you heard rumors about blackmail within the hospital?
I don't have time to listen to all the idle gossip that floats in these halls, Doctor.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have had run-ins with the law?
Doctor, you've hardly been here and you're already questioning the moral fortitude of the staff.
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
What were... Yeah, those are Goswick. So, I mean, the person that they're talking about has to be this lady on the other side of this door over here. Oh, and now the door's open. Okay. Now, I can't help but feel like this lady's gonna die, because she doesn't seem to have any hints or anything associated with her. Sappho. Royal Garden Policy. Oh, that poster on the wall.
What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse, or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
I'm not going to bother asking her if she's blackmail.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on.
Yeah, except
See you on the
that
next
she
round.
didn't. We already knew that. That's Pippa and Milton. But yeah, see, she's healthy, blood quality. Doesn't even give us a blood quality either. Like, it just says blood quality. It doesn't actually show.
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Hey, Pippa.
Good evening, nurse.
I'm back.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift.
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
Alright, well that...
What?
Let me get...
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Alright, well that was worthless. No. Here's Brannigan.
Good
Why
evening,
is the...
Miss Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why are these white again? I've already got everything in them.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
No? Wow.
Goodbye,
Alright.
nurse.
Well, that was short
Call
and
me
sweet.
if you need assistance. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening,
Oh,
Dr.
that was just
Reed.
Pippa again.
Good.
Where the hell is this leading us? Oh, we gotta find Crane. Right, unknown, because he's probably gonna die, right? Like, we're gonna do this and then come back and find him dead. Because she's drained him or something.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
Alright, so that finally let us pass the lock gate then. Now, I did want, because like this box was available, I did want to grab that opium. It's a good box right there. Okay, so Crane then must have went back to, went over to Whitechapel then, so we could finally, and we, well, I mean, we'll head there at some point anyway. And we'll see if we can actually talk to her there.